Alright guys, so we're going to be forging a knife today, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of the old forge. This is a Shishma rig. I forged it up myself so I can push the coal around, and it is a coal fire forge. I like it that way. Gas fire is more efficient and you have more control, and it's cheaper, but I don't know how to build one of those, but I know how to build this. It's a brake drum forge. And so this is the brake drum forge itself. It has the brake dealio, and it's screwed into the bottom. It has a 2-inch steel pipe going straight down, and then a T-bar going off the side of it, so that you can put in air, which comes through, yes, my very redneck hair dryer, straight up the middle. And the coals can drop down into that little bucket I have there. And what's nice about the bucket is that I can put coals straight back in if they're still usable, until basically they burn to ash. Also, I got this coal right here from centerforge.com. That's where I get most of my tools, and it's really nice because there's nowhere you can just buy blacksmithing tools locally, to my knowledge, in Alaska, Anchorage specifically. This is my anvil over here. It is a railroad track piece. Not an official anvil. That is probably the next upgrade for the forge. But yeah, today we're going to be making a knife out of a railroad spike. So, let's do it. So my forge has one particular problem, is right in the middle there's a hole. And most of this coal from Center Forge that I got is really small, so it tends to fall through. But once you get fresh coal burning, it cokes up so it sticks to itself, which is really neat. And then you don't have to worry about it falling through so much. So what I do is I put birch bark down, because that allows airflow through there, but also prevents it. And then I just bury that birch bark. And this has taken me a couple times to figure out how to do it the best way. So this seems to be working good. Because this part's kind of cool, in the sense that we're using a flamethrower kind of deal. But I like to light this first, so I can get that burning, and when I go to light the blowtorch, I'm not sticking my fingers in front of it, which is definitely a bad idea. So here we go. Next thing you want to do is match your metal to your tongs. This is the railroad spike I'm using, and I like these tongs better for some things. They don't grab onto this real well. They can do that, but as soon as I start putting pressure on it, it shakes and it'll fall out and burn the grass, which is not my favorite thing. So I like to use these tongs. It seems to get a better grip on these. Just like that, and I can do more with them when I have them out to the right length. But you can get those tongs off Center Forge. I just didn't buy the right ones, and they're kind of expensive, honestly. That website is not cheap. So yeah, we're going to get the burn on this, and then we're going to start working on it. When you're forging a knife, you go through a series of steps. The first, I like to make the handle length first, because right now you got this little stub of a railroad spike. And there's not a lot of room for both a handle and a blade, but you can draw it out, and then that gives you handle space, and you can use the fatter end for the blade. The next thing, after I make the handle length, I like to twist it, because I just think it looks cool. And then after that, I just go completely to the blade, and you just flatten it as much as you can, switching sides every time it cools. Put it back, heat it up, pull it back out, hit the other side, and just flatten it. And then once you flatten it out, you want to get it to the general knife shape, which I'll show you. After you do that, you put the blade back in, let it heat up, bring it out, and it cools down. And you do that 3 times before the 4th time you heat it up, then you dip it in olive oil or any kind of oil, and that tempers the blade, and that makes it hard steel. Railroad spikes are notorious for not holding an edge very well, so can't really depend on this knife. It's like a super good knife, but it is cool to have a knife that you made. There are better metals for it, and you can buy them at a steel mill, which I'm not sure where one is, but it is optional. Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. Thought I'd explain that first because the camera is dying. And if it dies before you see it all, at least you know how to do it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to draw this blade out, or draw the handle out. Essentially, I'm just gonna hit it on each of the 4 sides. And that actually lengthens it. You're compressing the metal and it stretches outward. So I'm gonna do that until I get it where I like it, and then I'll show you that spot. And then I'll do a twist and we'll work on the blade itself. Another thing I want to mention real quick, because you'll notice how the metal gets kind of bubbly like that. When it gets like that, you need to scrape it with a wire brush, because it will ruin the way the handle looks or the blade, and it gives it this really wrought iron look. I guess if you're into that, that's good, but it takes away the smoothness of it, and it's just kind of nasty. So you want to go ahead and brush that off whenever you can. Also, get it a little hotter than that. That was for demonstration only. Ready, actually. You want to trade me real quick? Grab those for me. And you want it inside. Got it? Yeah. Okay, let's try and do this. Ready? 3, 2. Woo! It's shedding like a snake. Call it the snake blade. Okay, it's probably time to put it back in. Really ready? Yeah. It's really ready.
I'm so ready. I came from that house right there.
Is that ready, folks? It's really ready. Yep, that's good. Ding. Alright, so I got the handle finished now. You see it has a little twist. This is a manpower twist, so my cousin and I muscled that out. Ooh, and I'm gonna burn my glove. But we're gonna start working on the blade. That's the handle length, and then I'm just gonna flatten the crap out of all this to make our blade and try not to burn my fingers off. So that's the plan. No, they aren't. Alright, so now that we got this going, we're going to do a little grinding on it. And then once we grind it up into shape, get the good blade on there, we're going to put it back in there, heat it up, pull it out, let it cool, heat it up, pull it out, let it cool, heat it up, let it cool, then heat it up again and dip it in some of this oil, which is not Prego oil, it's actually safflower oil. So, surprise, surprise. But what that does is it tempers the blade and hardens it up into solid awesomeness. So, on with the show. Alright, so we got this part done. Got it all nice and base sharpened and messed around with that handle too. But we gotta heat it up and temper it now. Alright, so at this point I have it heated it up and let it cool down 3 times. Basically let it get red and cool it down. I'm kind of having trouble with the camera because it keeps dying on me. So I'm going to heat it up again really quick, dip it, and then we're going to call that the end of the video because all you can do from then on is sharpen it and use it. So yeah, a little bit of dressing. After you make a knife like this, they all need to be oiled. Like every blade you have should be oiled, otherwise they will rust. Especially if you get them wet and just leave them, they'll rust. So make sure you have them well oiled. And that also works for leather too, as you get dry leather and it just kind of rips easy. Oil it up and it'll increase the longevity by far. You can keep metal and leather if you, as long as you take care of it, keep it sharpened, keep it clean, keep it oiled, you can use it until it breaks in half, pretty much, as far as the knife goes. Leather until it rips. So there's your tip of the day, is oil's good stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna heat that knife blade up. Hope the camera doesn't die in the process. Dip this thing and call it good. Thanks for watching.